padres. Hi, parents. Please don't forget to comment below once you finish watching the video so I can mark your attendance and you can support TLC funding. Por favor, padres, no se olviden a comentar su nombre debajo del video luego de que acabe de ver el video para poder contar su asistencia y poder entonces ayudarnos a seguir recibiendo los fondos para seguir proveyendo los servicios de Teton University Center. Vamos a leer el capítulo de Voces Latinas, el capítulo de María Cárdenas. María Cárdenas, página 67. We are going to be reading the chapter of María Cárdenas from page 67. If you have your digital copy, please pull it out so you can read along, but I will also be providing the text. Okay. So here we have the text. Hold on 1 second. Okay. We're going to start. Okay. We're going to learn about our narrator, nuestro narrador. Nuestro narrador o narradora, or narrator, female version in Spanish, about María Cárdenas. In her mid-teens, María Cárdenas seemed destined to just be another sad statistic. ¿Qué significa statistic? Statistic es estadística. She had endured years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Forced into a loveless marriage, she was already a mother. She could barely read or write, but somehow she continued to believe that life held something more for her. With remarkable courage and determination, María showed the world that she was right. Okay, now we're going to hear the narrator speak. Ahora vamos a escuchar a la narradora hablar. As I was growing up, I learned what a good woman was. I saw that a good woman cooked her man's food from scratch desde el principio, making fresh tortillas every day. She had total responsibility for her kids, and she had as many kids as she could. She worked with her husband in the fields. On Saturday and Sunday, her man went out to drink while she stayed home with the kids. If she had time, she could watch the telenovelas. She had no desires of her own, no ambitions. She receives very little respect from those around her. That is the image of womanhood that I grew up with. This is what I taught lay in store for me. This is what I was taught lay in store for me. My parents were Mexican migrant workers. I was the second of their 8 children and the oldest girl. From the time I was a toddler, bebé, I, like my siblings, worked in the fields alongside my parents. We drove back and forth across the country, staying in crowded migrant camps, spending our days picking tomatoes or cucumbers, oranges, potatoes, or beans. Cucumbers son pepinillos, oranges, naranjas, papas, o frijoles. The sun scorched my skin. Scorched, quemar. Cuando algo quema. Scorched. My skin. While the leaves sliced my hands. Sliced, me habían las manos. Oils from the vegetables stained my nails. We kept a constant lookout for snakes hiding in the brush. Lookout se mantenían alerta para las serpientes que podían estar escondiéndose debajo de los arbustos. As the years went on, my father worked less and drank more. Standing at the edge of the fields, chatting with the jefes, bosses, and throwing stones at us if we didn't take fast enough. At home, he beat my mother terribly and eventually began beating us kids as well. We attended school at times, but with our constant moves and my father's demand, that we work as much as possible, I learned next to nothing. Even when we lived in one place for a while, I often had to stay home. As the oldest girl, I always had a baby to take care for or a meal to prepare, clothes to wash, or ironing to do. Ironing, planchar. And yet, somehow, even when I was very young, I felt certain that a woman's life, my life, could be better. How I knew that, I can't say. It was not because of anything I observar. Still, looking at the horrible lifestyle of the women around me, I thought, my life will not be like that. By the time I was 12, we were living apart from my father, and I was able to attend school more regularly. I desesperadamente, wanted to learn, but I was so far behind the other students that I didn't know how to catch up. Ponerse al día, catch up. When I asked questions about material I didn't understand, the teachers were impatient, impaciente, un adjetivo, and I was too shy to make a fuss. So, fuss, hacer un escándalo o poner mi opinión. So I mostly stayed quiet, sitting like a ghost, un fantasma, in the back of the classroom, picking up what I could. Then, when I was 14, an amazing thing happened. A teacher, a woman named Mrs. Mercer, noticed me vio. She asked if I wanted to work Saturdays at the Western clothing store she and her husband owned, eran dueños. I translated for the store's Spanish-speaking customers, and I earned $20 a day. That money felt like gold to me. It wasn't just the amount. It was what it told me, that I did not have to be a field worker. It told me that I could do something more. I began to have dreams about my future. I imagined myself having a good job, an actual career. I pictured myself wearing pretty clothes and carrying a briefcase. I imagined doing something that other people respected. The month I turned 16, Mrs. Mercer recommended me for a cashier's job at the supermarket. 6 weeks later, I was promovieron, to head cashier. Head cashier es el trabajo cuando trabajan en supermercados o en tiendas, la caja y la persona que está a cargo de la caja. That same night, the manager offered to let me go home 2 hours early, at 9 instead of 11. I was so excited. I could not wait to get home to tell my family the good news. But my brother couldn't pick me up until 11. So when a friend of his, someone I knew, someone I had worked with in the fields, came into the store and offered me a ride home, I was delighted. Delighted is muy agradecida. What had started out as the best night of my life ended as the worst como la peor. The man didn't drive me home. He attacked me in the car, beat me, and raped me. I don't know what your family would say if you showed up at your home bruised and bloody and crying, saying you had been raped. I hope it would not be what I heard. When you live in a world like mine, where women have no status and no rights, there is no such thing as rape. I had gotten into the car with the man, hadn't I? I had let him do what he had done, hadn't I? Hadn't I quiere decir, had not I? What had happened had to be my fault. He is a rapist, was just being a man. I had failed to be a good woman. When I learned I was pregnant, I truly thought my life was over. I could see nothing ahead of me but the same life my mother had lived. The only path open to me, it seemed, was to do what my family wanted. I quit school, married the man who had raped me, and moved with him to Oklahoma. To do otherwise would have disgraced the family. Disgrace is deshonorar. The years in Oklahoma were a nightmare. My little daughter, Antonieta, was the only bright spot in a life of poverty, pobreza, shame, vergüenza, and abuse, abuso. As the days dragged como los días seguían hacia adelante lento, I thought more and more about her. In spite of my saying, in spite of es aunque haya dicho esto, my life will not be like that. My life was like that. And what was my little girl learning about being a woman? She was learning what I had learned, that a woman has no rights, no self-respect, no ambition, and no hope. I gathered my courage, mi fuerza, mi bravería, and I left. I took Antonieta and a few belongings and returned to Florida. My husband mocked me, se reía, as I drove away. You'll be on welfare. Welfare is cupones del gobierno. You'll never make it, he said. But he was wrong. I got a divorce. I worked in the fields and in the supermarket. I kept up the payments on my little car. And I lived in peace with my daughter. I was very, very happy. As I rebuilt my life, I realized what my next big challenge would be. Antonieta was going to school and loving it. She brought her little books home, so I could read her stories. My reading skills were very poor. I knew that before long, she would hand me a book that was too difficult for me. That was the beginning of my journey to educate myself. I won't go into all the details here, detalles. I'll just tell you that after teaching myself to read, I enrolled in a federal program that helped seasonal, estacionales, farm workers go to college. I took developmental courses, cursos de desarrollo, to prepare me to start working on a degree. Degree es un bachillerato at Edison Community College. I earned my bachelor's degree from mi bachillerato from Florida Gulf Coast University. Today, I am an elementary teacher, the first Hispanic teacher ever hired by my school. Most of my students are Hispanic as well, many of them children of migrant workers. I love my job. and my students so much that they are hardly words to tell you. It means the world to me to tell those little children, yes, I grew up like you, but now I am a college graduate and a teacher. You can do that too. Now, I want to talk about another very important chapter in my life. That is the marriage to my husband, Alfonso. I met and married Alfonso after I moved back to Florida. Together, criamos Antonieta, who is a lawyer today, and we have 2 more children, Korak, who is in college, and Jasmine, a high school senior. It has been so important to me to have a husband who is supportive, me apoya, of me achieving my goals, metas. Believe me, during all those years of me going to school and now teaching, there have been plenty of times I failed the good woman test. But Alfonso has always been patient, paciente, and understanding, entiende. And I so appreciate that about him. But I want you to understand something. Yes, I am fortunado, to have a good man like Alfonso in my life. But it was not just a matter of luck. From our first days together, I told Alfonso that getting an education and having a career, una carrera, were things I was determined to do. I was not going to stay home and be a traditional Hispanic wife and mother. If that bothers you, te molesta, I told him, we should say goodbye. I could see that Alfonso understood, entendió, and that my goals were truly important to him. My point is this. If you have dreams and ambitions, dreams, sueños, ambitions, ambiciones, it's not enough to just hope that your man will support them. If you get involved with someone, hoping that eventualmente, you can change him, chances are you will see your dreams shrivel up and die. Shrivel, arrugarse. When I was in college, I saw a Hispanic woman whose husband left her because she was going to school. Because going to school didn't fit his image of what his wife should be. I've seen other women start school and drop out because their husbands weren't supportive. Please. When you are considering choosing a man to spend your life with, think about these things. It's hard enough even with a supportive man. In my own family, I continue to feel like an outsider. People were horrified when I went back to school. I was felt selfish and strange and a bad wife and mother. What is she, crazy? People asked. The whole family used to come to my house and I'd cook and they'll all enjoy themselves. I rarely have time to do that now, so that doesn't sit well with them. Many of them have grown distant. She's too good for us now, they say. She's snooty. Snooty es una persona como sobre otras personas. She associates more with anglosajones, than with us. I'm sorry they feel that way. It would be nice to have my family's understanding, entendimiento, and support, apoyo. But you know what? It's okay. As long as I have the support of my husband and my kids, I am fine. And my job, I honestly cannot tell you how wonderful it is. Every day is a joy. When the dismissal bell rings, en la campana de que se acaba el día escolar, I am always surprised that it's already time to go home. Imagine, The shy little migrant girl, barely alfabetista, scared and abused, is now Mrs. Cardenas, the teacher. And yes, I wear pretty clothes and carry a briefcase. The best thing of all, when I teach an 8-year-old girl who has to go home to make tortillas, I think, that was me. I know why she doesn't have her schoolwork done. It's because she's been caring for her baby brother and helping her mother cook. I can help that child. I won't be like those impatient teachers who ignored me as I sat in the back of the room. I can help that little girl come up with her own definition of a good woman. She can grow up knowing, as I know, that dreams really can come true. Ok, padres, por favor, no se olviden de comentar su nombre abajo para darle su asistencia. Hi, parents. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to comment below with your name so I can give you your attendance. And from here, please go to Google Classroom so you can complete your assignments. De aquí, por favor, vaya a Google Classroom para completar su asignación. Y no se olviden de la otra asignación, entre 5 y 10 verbos en el pasado que encuentren en el periódico. Me envían por email antes del lunes a las 5:30. ¿Ok? Buscan el significado del verbo y una oración en el pasado. No se preocupen, es la primera asignación que estamos haciendo con el verbo del pasado, así que esperen que van en errores. Está bien, es la práctica. Envíenmelos por emails todo el mundo, por más que hayan visto esta grabación y no en la clase, por más que, no sé.